Hey, hello. Let's see. Mm, yo. The mic is working. I see a thing moving. Let's move this. Someday I will figure something out with the mic. I was thinking, like, sometimes I'm thinking, like, do I need another mic? But I like this mic. Like, why would I change this? Like, it's working. It sounds good, but I would have liked it if I could move like the mic over here, where it still works, but then I have to yell. So maybe I need to mess around with the gain. I don't know. Don't touch it. Don't. I'm not gonna buy a new mic. Not now. It's a shame that the what was it? The wireless, like the Rode one, like the pin thing, the tiny mic, wasn't that bad, that great for this setting, for this setup. Good, normal, but not for this setup. I need to test it out. I need to retest that mic again though, because that was kind of decent. But did I ever test it out with a wireless? I don't think I did. I should test that mic out again. It's kind of nice. It's like the old, like the wireless. It's connected like to the camera, and then I just have like a lavalier mic on the shirt. It was like decent, but I think what the problem was, like the audio was like bouncing around, right? But I don't think I ever tested that out wirelessly. Wirelessly. Stream is on, good. Otherwise, I would have been rambling into the void. The mic is on. I got my tea. Made a mistake with the tea. Not necessarily the type of tea, but only have half a cup now, and it's cold. Wanted to start the stream a little bit earlier, but then I was like, maybe take a shower. Maybe take a shower. Smelly dude. Let's see. That is working. Very good. Very good, yes. So listen up. Listen up. It's Sunday. It's Sunday. It's 2 p.m. Started a little bit later. Because, yeah, I took a shower. Very refreshing. Didn't exercise today. Very refreshing. It's good. Don't have the energy for that. Itchy nose. So... here's a plan on when did we start with this thing. On Monday. So we have been building on we have been working on that Zelda clone thing, and like I said yesterday, it's no longer a Zelda clone. It's starting to become its own thing with kind of like the foundation of like Zelda. So that's still fine. I'm not gonna change the title because that's just gonna that might just mess up a couple things. Then I need to maybe I could do that, but then I have to rename the stuff on YouTube, and that might be a little bit weird. I don't know. So now, at the moment it's consistent, but building a game and only focusing on the functionality, building system, building functions, and just making sure that everything is working before we actually build a game. Spoke about it yesterday. I think that was yesterday. That might not be something that you do normally. Focus that much on like the interface and like the menu stuff. When you build just a prototype to see what the game, if the game is actually fun, then you would focus more on like making the game and just something to test out if the game is working. But yeah, this time with this project, taking a little bit of a different route where we just built the basics, like the menu, inventory stuff, just the ability to walk around a little bit, like things that we might want in the end. I kind of like that. I kind of like this approach, and it's just like a week dedicated to that stuff. And now I think slowly we will head more towards to work on the game itself, because we do need those menu like the control states and all the menu stuff. We do need that, especially if it's a prototype that we just want to continue building upon or building on. So yeah, it's a kind of like a different approach, and maybe not really advisable, because normally when you build a prototype, it's just to test out if that concept is working, yes or no. And now we don't actually have a game that we test, so it's more testing if the menu is working. But there's a pro with this though. The more we build that functionality of like the UI stuff and having the ability to do some inventory stuff and picking up items and shooting, shooty bang bang, whatever. The more we have that all that done, we could just save that as is. I save it for every stream, so I also number it. And I was thinking, the next time, let's say within a month, because that's the thing that I said, well, let's just do this for a month and see where it ends up. It's gonna be very nice to have that, all the other versions for when I want to make a different kind of game in Construct. Because I do believe that what we have built so far, it really doesn't matter what type of game it is. We are basically building more like the core functionality of everything else that's needed to make like a game run. So yeah, we can just switch it up, and I think that's kind of cool. We just build some like a good foundation, and then from there we can just decide, oh, it's gonna turn into this game, and then we have some stuff already pre-built, which is nice. With that said, though, yesterday we worked on a menu. I think the menu so far it's working. We can change settings. And also, we have like the language and the difficulty just for testing out. And the nice thing is we can change the difficulty, and that does have an impact on the game already. Just have a slight thing, made a small thing to test it out, and it's just, for the enemies, and so that these stats are properly applied based on like the difficulty. So we did it yesterday, fixed that menu, the right side. Took a little bit longer than I anticipated, as always. No, it didn't take longer than I anticipated. I knew it would take long, but not like 3 hours or something. It took a little bit longer. There were some issues. Some small mistakes were made. Small mistakes. But I think we did fix those rather quickly. And then at the end, just a small recap. Just at the end, we started building on the inventory itself so that we can go into the inventory, select items, and that's something that I need to pick up now. But first, what we're gonna do though is, let's just show what we have. Let's just check what we have. Go over what the problem is with the inventory, or things that we need to take into account, and then let's draw, maybe if needed, let's draw out how we actually want the inventory to work, because after the stream I've been thinking about it, and there are some solutions, but with every solution I encounter like kind of like different problems, as always, which is good, which is fine. I think designing is mostly like problem solving a puzzle, and to think about like possible solutions, and there are always more solutions than you want, and there are pros and cons for each solution, and it doesn't matter what you choose, because there's always something else that's wrong. So I think let's chill out again. Right, another thing, for this stream, I am gonna test out, it might be a little bit odd, but I'm not gonna turn on the music, because that lo-fi playlist is kind of messing up the YouTube uploads. There's no DMCA, there's no copyright strikes, but I do get like notifications that we use songs, and you know, if I was like a partner on YouTube, I don't get like ad revenue. um I explained before, that's not an issue. I'm nowhere near that level. But it kind of makes me a little bit anxious that at some point they say, well, now it's enough. Like, you need to stop using music. Even though that playlist says, hey, this is all good. Maybe an artist at some point decides, like, no, let's have a copyright strike. And I don't want to deal with that. It's kind of weird. Maybe no music on it. Some downtime. I think I do a decent. I think I do a decent job with talking over what I'm working on, but I do like the music in the background. But let's just get a feel of you know, how the stream goes without the music. If you want music, put on some music on in the background. Now you can actually decide your own music. There you go. Put it on a volume of 30%, and it's a good background. So maybe it's actually better. Now you get to choose the music in the background, and I don't have to deal with it. Good, problem solved. Problem solving. Speaking of problem solving, let's go. Let's go here. Let's go here. Already had this open. Let's go over this list. I might have removed one thing already that we did. This is just our to-do list. Yeah, we actually need to check that out. It's not like an issue. You know what? Let's not check it out. It's not an issue right now. Create a font. That is something that we actually did. That is what we built yesterday. It's the menu options that are displayed on the right. Is there anything else that we need to do? We could quickly do the air transition. Show selected. Yeah, not really. Difficulty. We did that. Like the difficulty with the health. Have not done that yet. Forgot to import that font. Control states, right? There was a small issue with it. If I come across it, we might have to do something about that. Determine item location. Oh, let's not remove stuff from here. What I do need to do though is go here. Open up these files because we might need those. Let's move the data there, and now we have the setup. Right, and we have like the English and Dutch XML, which is also very nice. Let's move. Right, let's not move my keyboard. Let's go to the splash screen and just quickly show what we have right now. Let's press F for the full screen. It's kind of it's moving rather oddly. I fucked up the resolution that's over there because I don't know why I fucked it up. Let's get a calculator here. Let's do some science. The 256 should be 270. I don't know, why did I 256? Am I gonna change that right now? Yeah, because that's gonna bother me. See, that is just 1080 divided by 4. Doesn't have a big impact on the game right now, though. Just need to slightly change this. The 270 is based by 1080 divided by 4, and the 480 is by the 1920 divided by 4. So we get a consistent, or we get like a consistent pixel size. or a pixel size that's similar to the let's just say if you were to display like an NES game on a monitor. It's not the same, but it looks the same. It's not the same, it looks the same. Science. So that also means we should change it in the main menu. I have not decided yet. I go back and forth about the resolution that we're using. I should also change the splash screen as well. Oh, no, I already did that. So that means I should do the load. And I think that's the final one. Why I go back and forth about the resolution, we could work in a 1080, you know, just have a 1080 layout, and then you know, the 1080 kind of scales good to the 720p, but also if you just have the 1440p or like 4K, that, you know, this scales up rather nicely. Also on this resolution though, if we want to have like that pixel size like that we see here, you know, this pixel size, kind of like this is the pixel size that we get with the ×4. You know, is that correct though? Yeah, like that's a pixel. That's just look at the corner. That's how big the pixels are gonna be. The text seems a little bit larger though. It's kind of, well, could be. Is that? Well, anyway. Now this is just the 480, you know, ×4. Sorta, because we fucked up like this. So it's this is not a good representation. What we could also do is work in the 1080, and then if we want to have like the same pixel size, we need to either resize sprites within construct, you know, set the scale. So we work on pixels, like make a sprite just regular, not resize it, but then we do it in construct. So we still get that small asset, but then scaled up. We could do that. Or whenever we make a sprite, scale it up in, for example, Photoshop, and then import it, and then we don't have to do that. But then, you know, that's just a big hassle. English, Dutch, hard, easy, normal. That's still working. Let's go to start. And what we have here is what we have here is the game. So we pick up a bow. Right, that's something that we need to do though. We need to completely forgot it. Show items that are collected. Because now we populate the inventory with just a list, but then we still need to compare if that key is actually in the inventory, and then it should show and make the item selectable. Is the item selectable based on inventory key value? Yeah, did not even think about that, but that's one thing that we could also work on when we continue on the inventory. So speaking of the inventory, we have like the area transition. I do want to change the control state once we hit like a area transition, because I don't like how once we move it and we have the fade, and then you can still move around with the character. there's a way to, you know, set the time scale for the player and then that everything just freezes up. But I do want to change the control state. At that point, let's test out the inventory. I think that was in Q. So then we go to the inventory and then, you know, the red dot is just everything is placeholder. But the red dot is to show, well, it's to show what we have selected right now in the inventory. One thing that I did not build yet, that is where I had to stop the stream, is that when I move up once more, it should go to the icon on the bottom row. I think that's kind of important, but we do need to draw out how this is gonna work out and kind of like maybe a layout for this stuff. So let's just move over to this and let's do that. Let's do this. That's fine. Let's move. I am thinking that I could turn on some music if it's in the background and if people don't mind it. Just for now, just a little bit of music and it should be in the background. Is that too loud? I don't know. Just gonna go over there. Sure, let's have that on. Just a little sound in the background. I don't think it's too loud now. Just a little sound. It feels odd when it's too quiet. Let's move over to here. So we do have that, and then what we're gonna do is this. And we're gonna move my keyboard away because we definitely need to draw some stuff out for the inventory. Let's get this. Let's get that. Whoa. See, now that's the problem with the mic. I hope the sound is like okay. It's gonna be a good test. I think it's fine if I lean over a little bit. Yes, it should be fine. Because I'm looking down now. Should be fine. So let's have that. Good. Let's take a look at the inventory. Well, no, that's... Do I need to see the inventory of the game right now? No, I don't need to see it. Beautiful. Straight lines. It's fantastic. That's the best line ever. Best line. There we go. So... Oh. So we do have the... What a handwriting. Holy shit, man. There we go. Inventory. So what we have is weapons. That's the naming that we use right now. We have the weapons, gadgets, and collectibles. And my understanding is collectibles might show, for example, we will probably build something similar to Zelda with the 4 heart pieces, and then you get like a complete heart. We will just have something like similar to that, and collectibles might be simply things that we don't necessarily have to select to use, but those are just used whenever we need to. I think I'll place below the collectible something like the money as well, bombs, like the bomb count, arrow count, depending on how those items are used. But just like, hey, you don't have to select them. You don't have to select them. They are just there, but you can select them or browse through them in inventory just to get some like an item description. So what we have set up now, this is also what we used in the XML, and we can make more. We can make more if we want, but it all depends on like how we are gonna display those items. We can create more, but for now, so what we have. So what we have are like the weapons in a row like that, but I'm gonna change that. I think we have it like that, but what I want to do is just have a single row, but I will keep it, you know, like that, just to select the, you know, if I move. What I want, if I move up from here, it should select the item that's in that same column, but then the thing that's in the final row. So let's just add a little bit of color and actually show that. And the same thing that I want to have, if once we're here and we press on, if we're here and we press like left, it should go there. I think that's a nice thing to do. What we also could do is that it actually goes a row up, but that feels maybe a little bit weird. And even though I kind of like the idea that if there's a lot of columns, that if I press left, it goes here, because then it's just like left and then just single up or down. And the same goes like whenever we select a weapon, this is the first item that is being selected, the first. And if you want to go there, I don't want to have the player to tap like right, like right and down. Those are just, that's 4 button presses, excluding the one like that makes you go into the weapons. So I don't think that's user friendly. So it's just a tap of like left and then down. And then you have the final item selected in that list. Or down and left. I think that's kind of nice. So the other thing that we have are the gadgets. And I have a feeling that we might end up with more gadgets than actual weapons. For now, you know, for the prototype, we will just have a single weapon and then items that are just not selected to be able to pick up. But I think for the direction we might get like gadgets as well. So we just make the XML with a couple gadgets, and now we have a couple collectibles. And I think that's how we're gonna set it up. So if we build it, we have like the weapons, the gadgets, and the collectibles. Now the other the problem is that I spoke about yesterday is that, for example, we have the gamepad, and then we have the A, B, and X and Y. I'm gonna focus on that. That's the thing that I will keep in mind for the controller that we have. I think it would be nice to have like right now we have a primary and like a secondary item slot. And that's the thing that we need to think about. Like, how do you select those items? And there were a couple of suggestions. But what is important is that, well, let's just say we have these two, just 2 buttons, right? So we, what if we base it on Zelda, right? The first Zelda. Where you can just select like 2 items and that's it. Then it would be what you could do in a menu is for example, A is the primary, and then B is the secondary. So when I select weapons, select a weapon on the list, so, like for example, press A on that item, so we accept that item, or press A and then we set that item to our primary, and now we have, for example, the secondary item. If I want to select the secondary item, then I press B on an item. That's what we could do. But that will definitely... it's kind of weird with the mic like this. That's kind of limit whatever we can do in the menu, but also I think that will limit our flexibility within the game itself if we want to actually have the ability to change more like items at the end. So that is probably not what we're gonna do. So let's just show this. Oh yeah, maybe that's gonna just end up at the top. Let's just do this. So that's the primary and then the secondary. See, the weird thing is we might get more things to choose from even. The problem with that setup, what I was thinking, and I think I said yesterday at the end of the stream, the problem is that if we here and we press A to select an item, like how do you get out of that menu? Because first, once you go in the inventory, you can either select from weapons, gadgets and collectibles. You press up and down. You select which one you want, because we're not building the same one as Zelda, where you just have like multiple rows and everything is just collected in a single like grid. That's I am not opting in for that. Yes, I'm not gonna do that. Because we're not gonna do that. I don't want that. I want to make it a little bit more sophisticated now. I just want to make it a little bit different. So the problem is when you select an item here, like how do you cancel out of it? Because if you want to stick with A and B for the secondary, would it be obvious that you press like start to exit out? Or you could say, well, I press A here, it sets the primary, and then it will just exit out the weapon thing. That could be done. It could be done like that, but with that, it will feel maybe somewhat illogical for the player. Like, why do I exit out the menu? And maybe you select something on, by mistake. Then it gets selected, then you get thrown out of that menu. Then you need to go into the menu again. And maybe you're just too busy with selecting items back and forth. So we're not gonna do that. I don't think we're not gonna do that, because that will also limit the stuff. So another option is to say that, and might be the way how we're gonna do it, is that when we have the primary and the secondary slot, what if we just say that one is the weapons and the secondary slot is the gadget that you use? And I think that option is gonna be very beneficial in the end, and might be a little bit weird, because maybe you want to select two weapons, but maybe that's a choice that you need to make, right? I can only pick out one weapon and one gadget, and that's it. So you got A and B. So if I go with that setup, if I go into weapons, then press A here, it will just select a weapon because we're on the weapon wheel. So we also identify this slot is the weapon slot, and then it sets it there. And the nice thing is, you select it, that's it. You press B, and that will just cancel out, and then you can move in that list again. Why is that nice? Because we will just have the same setup for the gadget. So that is the gadget. So once you press A here, that gadget is selected and that one is there. The benefit for that, what I was thinking of, is that the weapons, because that's another thing that we need to build, right? The weapon and the gadget will have like their own cooldowns. And the weird thing, yeah, those will have their own cooldowns. So gadgets have cooldowns and weapons have cooldowns. And at this point, we could just add two separate cooldowns that maybe you might not see, or the inventory icon is maybe a little bit like opacity or not that clear, or you know, more in the background. Just there's an indication like you can't use it now, or for a weapon you might not even see a cooldown because it's just something that you learn over time, like by using it. Like how many times can you press the A, like how fast can you do it. I don't think I want to see like a bar constantly like go like bam, 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 and then down and down and down and again, and every time like there's a sound playing that you can use it. But that might be a little bit more like needed for gadgets, like a cooldown, but I don't know. Anyway, if we show it or not, there needs to be cooldowns, and weapons will get a cooldown stat, and gadgets will get their own cooldown stat, and those will just speak to a different timer. So we got like a timer and a timer for the weapons and for the gadgets. If we see them, yes or no, doesn't matter. I think that's a good setup if we do it like this. That way, my feeling is that will also make it easier to... another thing, before I talk about that, maybe that this is actually the thing that I want to say. With the cooldowns and having a separate timer for weapons, I was thinking like, well, it's gonna be really odd when I might have to turn down this music actually. I'm just gonna turn down the music. This is not working for me. There you go, pause it. It's not working for me. It's Sunday, man. It's too loud. Now it's too quiet. Yeah, because with the prior setup, you get that scenario where you have two inventory slots, or the primary and the secondary slot. And with the first setup, you give the ability to the player to select two weapons. And how is that gonna work out if you have a weapon that's a sword, and then maybe there's another like close range combat melee type of weapon as well? Can you then press A, press B like at the same time? That doesn't mean that we do need to have two separate timers for the cooldowns that are solely for the weapon. I think if the player is able to select two weapons, that's gonna fuck it all up. That's gonna be messy in the end. That might be messy in the end if you have two. Like, what's gonna happen when you press like sword and then like the machine gun? Like, how is that gonna feel? It's something that I don't want to think too much about because in my head it's already like that will just make it too complicated for balancing and whatever. And now it's just clear, like, hey, A is just weapon and B is using the gadget, use the item. Primary is A, be a secondary, but basically the primary secondary is gonna be weapon and gadget. I hope that's kind of clear. Like what's happening up here. The thing by setting it up like that is another cool thing is that at that point, because we're focusing on A and B, just having two inputs for the game. I don't know why. I just have that nice controller in mind. But what if we do want to make use of X and Y and also have like different things on it? Or if we have items that we can select but don't necessarily can use during the game, but those will have effects on it. So I was thinking, what if you have, like for example, you have in Zelda, I think from my memory, you got like the different armor types. Armor? Question mark. Let's just say A. Like here for armor. So let's say we decide, well, it would be good if you have some armor, or maybe something else that has more like a passive ability, something that you don't interact with, but will just do its thing during the game, and you don't have to activate it or whatever. Maybe it's activated automatically and deactivated automatically. By setting it up like that, by accepting, so we have like armor, and then you simply select it like you do it over there, press A, and then that thing is active. Then you see it, you actually see it on this thing as well. Let's have another color. So that thing is active, that thing is active, and let's say that thing is active, and you don't activate that. So that thing is active. So once we go into the menu, the inventory, we actually show which item is active, yes or no. And that way we have way more flexibility for introducing other items that might not be actively used, or we are actually able to show more on a UI of items that could be actually actively used. Maybe we have a button simply dedicated for health, or maybe like for buffs during combat. And we can dedicate those two things to maybe X and Y. And you also see that on the like the menu. So X and Y, like those are the X and Y, and that's something that you can also like select like here maybe you know, or you know, there's just I don't know, question mark. We have a couple of items that we can set to either X and Y, if that makes sense. So we can, you know, make it bigger and it become more flexible. What I don't think we're gonna do that. No, this is what we're gonna do. The X and Y, we'll leave it open, focus on A and B, and the rest is bonus. One other thing that I was thinking about is it would be cool to have the ability to during the game, let's get another color here. Let's go to the pink. I do think it would be nice if there's an option to quick select items during the game, so we don't even have to go into the inventory. That way, what we could do is maybe dedicate, see, the problem is with the gamepad, there you go, here's a nice PlayStation gamepad, so you got like the D-pad and then the buttons here. This is just the PlayStation 3 prototype gamepad. Fucking lovely. What a beast, what a beast. Right now we're focusing on, I think mainly for the D-pad to be used, or either the analog stick. And it would be cool at some point if you can say, well, I'm going to use the analog stick for movement and not going to use the D-pad. But what I want to do is, let's just say we have the movement on the analog stick, that the D-pad, either left or right, will cycle through the gadgets, and this will cycle through our weapons. So you can cycle through it and maybe the game will keep running. But if you want to pause and take your time to select it, then you go into the inventory. Yeah, so cycle. I think that would be nice. And if we want to make the switch, then either it's the D-pad or the analog stick, like D-pad left is weapon, D-pad right is gadget, analog stick left is weapon, analog stick right is that. But I do think I never built something like that, but that you can switch between either the analog stick and a D-pad. But yeah, I think that would be nice to have a way to also quick select items so you can just cycle through, and that means that that icon needs to change, and we need to maybe populate array with collected weapons or gadgets, so we know if we cycle through and we only get the things that we actually have collected yet at that point. And you know, that would be nice as well if we do have something like potions where you can cycle through the X weapons, and then if you press down, you cycle through the Y items, if you get that. And otherwise we can dedicate those buttons to something else. But I think with this setup, we get a couple more options and more flexibility later on. And then, you know, just to show, I think that would be good to show which items are actually selected. I think that's mostly based on just the border, that the border gets a different color, maybe a small like a shimmer, like a glimmer over the item, so you can see we have selected this. Or you see that actually on the UI itself. But yeah, I like this idea of maybe have like passive armor, passive items. Right. Is there anything else with this? I don't think there is. I don't think there is. Let's see. No. I think this is... We will encounter more problems. That's for sure. That's for sure. We will have some problems later on with this setup. Yes. Yes. But let's just build it and see where it goes. Yeah, let's just build it. Let's just build it. Why not? Where's my mouse? Okay. Why does it feel so weird sitting at my desk right now? It feels like I'm at an angle. That must sound weird. Am I gonna move? 1 second. Yup, that's all good. You can see the drawing. Just moved my drawing tablet a little bit up. Let's move the display. Very professional. There you go. Let's have a sip of tea. And that was 50 minutes of the stream already. So let's go for another 5 hours. No, I'm not gonna do another 5 hours. Let's do this. Let's do that. Boy. Inventory. There we go. That's for the sprites. We did that. I should. Am I gonna? Well, what will I do first? Maybe fix the like the row, like the navigation on the rows, and also I want to have that indicator on the correct spot in the beginning. Let's just show what I'm talking about. If we move here, there, that little sprite up there in the corner, it should start out there. Let's fix the row stuff, but also we should maybe make the icons for the gadgets and the weapons as well. And now we start out the inventory on weapons, because these are the weapons, and that's not good. We need to build something where we can actually select the weapons, the gadgets, the collectibles, or the other things. So we need to have something that happens before this, before we are actually into before we actually go into weapons and building the stuff, like going down here and then going up, or left, go that you go there. That might break again if we do that. Let's just build something. I'm gonna do something drastic as well. I'm gonna do this and call this gadget sprite, and then we have a weapon sprite. That's probably good, because we did that. And let's see. Yes, it's on construct. Let's zoom this one in for a little bit. Inventory weapon, inventory gadget. Yes, I am gonna change it up and turn it into a family. I should have done that. I should have done it in the beginning. Yesterday I was already thinking like, no, we probably need a family, because by creating the family we do have the ability to create more sprites for the inventory instead of just having one. Because that way you can always refer to the family instead of to individual sprites. Inventory items. Well, in the inventory there are already items. I will just call this inf items. The problem with placing these two within this family is that we actually gave the weapon sprite some variables, and we are not able to do the same for the fam items, because if we do add a row, it says, hey, it already has that variable. So what we can do though, object layout, Let's just zoom in here. This is just all the collection of all the items that we have. Let's keep that there. Let's just move that one there. That's a weapon sprite. Let's move that one there. That's gonna turn into the gadget. Let's give that a different color. Light blue. There we go. And yeah, yesterday we made like the different folders for the weapons, gadgets, and collectibles. But I feel this needs to be changed, especially if we want to build this more into a flexible thing. Because, you know, I said like the armor, collectibles, gadgets, that might add up like a ton if we add more items at some point. So this is not going to work out. This is not going to work in our benefit later on. And I do think, yeah, it would be better to have, yes, just have this as separate items. So the default, which one did I actually color? Let's remove the default on the gadget. Yeah, remove this as well. No, not the machine gun. Well, do remove the machine gun. Do delete this. And delete this. And we call just this one the default. So that's good. Let's close this. Let's save this. Now we need to remove gadget from here. Delete that from here. Move this up. There you go. Delete the folder. Don't need it anymore. And let's remove the variables from this one. We can't. Here's the tricky part. Oh. Shut up. We can't do that from. We can't sadly remove those variables from the weapon icon, because we are doing that. We are using them here, and if I remove them now, I might lose track where I use those variables. So there's a finicky way to solve that, and that is simply by adding adding them to the family. But I can't say row, so just call them row 1. I know. Call 1. And we need type as well. Type 1. And entry 1. And that should be a text as well. So we have the row, column, type, and entry. So those are added there as well. The type and entry, column, row. I think those are the 4 ones. And sadly, we're not able to replace the, or we might be able to replace. No, we're not able to replace it because nothing else has like row and column in it. It does have it in the family on that specific sprite, but not all the items. Well, I just need to do this manually. So it's a little bit weird. And then fam items. And what I do need to make sure is that it says type 1. And from there, I need to compare row 1 is equal to row. Copy and paste that. Column and call 1. No, column. So that's good. So basically, I would be able to disable that. And from here, I need to say entry 1. See, I should have done this yesterday from the get-go. And entry 1. So we should be able to delete our GRs. Yes. And we need the same for over here. Because that's cancel, but cancel is gonna have a different function. So we I'll fix it right now. Why did I do the... Oh, okay. Slot primary. Did I change that? Let's do that to none. We don't need to cancel anymore. The cancel should actually make us move back into the menu. Info item and then entry 1. And we can use this one here as well. It's the type that's being evaluated. I think that's the case. Yeah, so let's remove that. And here we can replace it with the inf weapon with the family inf items. And this whole thing needs to change. I know, very fun. I will just copy that one, disable that one. I am able to replace inf weapon with the family info items. And inf weapon should also be that. Inf item, set value, row, column, type, and we have the entry. And now, see, it is possible, but it's just a little bit like a hassle to do it right now. So that's why I also say I should have done it in the beginning. That's why I already made like the enemy in the family enemy and also the fonts, because I know you will get more. So at some point you do need to do that, just for the flexibility and being able to change it. You know, this just takes a little time to fix it. But if the menu was like built out like to a larger extent, would have definitely been a little bit more difficult. And the same thing, what should be done here is that the fam inf item should be destroyed. And I will just remove that one. So we still have this one. Let's just say... Why did I replace? I don't know. Did I not copy and paste the create object? So this is basically the same, right? We do have like the animation here, row, column, type, entry. I think it's safe to delete this. And then from the check, we have a family now, also for the primary, instead of the other one. And create is not doing anything right now. And what we now should, what we should do now is remove this. It's very tricky, because if we remove it and there was still code in here that was actually using those variables, like that code would be removed and it would mess up everything. But now we should go in here and rename these to this. Right. So now what will happen though is that with building it, we create a fam inf item, and this should work in a different way, because we do have like gadget sprites and weapon sprites in here. but we don't. We simply, when we build weapons, it needs to use this. So we need to do a similar setup like how we did it with the font, where we call a different function that actually creates the item, and now we select the item based on the UID, and that's why I did this, to actually have that in here. And for the creation, what I want to do, we can also test it out first if this thing is actually working. So let's save it. It should work, but then maybe the icons are fucked up. Maybe. Let's press play. We can move around. I'm gonna say save. A little bit anxious because like removing like the variables and adding their stuff. Hope there's no error. See, it's blue icons, but it should be like the purple ones, but it's just... See, it's just selecting one of the icons that's in that family, because we do need to say which icon we need. And yeah, this is not working. It is working, but this is something that we do need to fix. So that's this. Pick by evaluate. I need to move my keyboard a little bit more to the center. Sometimes I have my keyboard a little more to the right, and I notice that I keep leaning into that direction. Items dot UID is equal to call. Is that actually what I want to do? Maybe. So we select that one. So we create it. We remove this one, refer to it, and then do that. So the thing that we need to call is inventory menu create icon weapons. I don't know if the icons is needed. I don't think the icons is needed, but let's just have it in there, because maybe we need to create something else for the weapons as well. And then it's just a small little text. Inventory items. I don't know. Something feels off today. Something feels off. What's going on? It's my chair. I don't know. It's my chair or something? I did something. I did something to my desk. I don't know what. And then create. And then icon. And it's a long line. Weapons. But that should be something else. They should be function with power 1. And then we need to send in the I will just do this X and Y, because we need to send in the location of where it's being created, and we're not going to do that, but I need to copy and paste something in there. So before I fuck that line up, what I need to do is copy this and place that there. It's gonna be a long line, man. I know. Kind of terrible. It's kind of terrible, like how much is in there, but I hope it makes sense. So that means we can actually disable that one. So we pick from inf items based on that, and this one should system create an object items game inventory weapons on the layer. And then I think that's it. And the same goes for the gadgets. But then we need the gadget sprite, and goes same for here. One other thing which could be useful is that we do like the top there. Maybe you rename that layer later. And now you can just search through the event sheet. But you might make a function as well to just call out which layer needs to be used for like the icons. Might be a little bit like too much, but just mentioning it that is something that you could do. So what's happening here is basically the same setup, but we select an inf item based on the UID. And while we do that, we actually call a function that creates that icon. That's the one here, the icon and the weapons. That creates the actual icon that we need. But that weapon sprite is in that family. So once we return it, oh shit, yeah, we do need to return a value. So that was good to go over it. Set return value, and then we return that value of the item that we just created. And the same thing that we do over here. But then it's the gadget. So what's happens here, we just create it on the spot. We return the UID of that weapon sprite. That is what's gonna happen here, because we're gonna pick the fam info item based on the UID. So it will pick out that one. And then what happens here is that we do set the variables like the row, the column, the type, and the entry, and set the animation. So now if we make more items, we simply have to add the sprite to this, have it separated, and add it to here, and then this will basically will keep working, if I'm correct. So I will quickly test it out right now just to see if only weapon icons appear. Let's press Q. Nothing appears, so that's good. 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 Fantastic. Love it. Yo. Inventory items. Is that actually the function? Inventory menu. See? Good test. Small typo. And now it's working. Yes, okay, good. That was a big gamble. I felt like it was gonna work out, but you never know for sure. So that was a little bit bold of me to say it's working before actually looking at it. But now we do see those icons, and the nice thing is that we should actually try out and add the add a couple of gadgets as well, just to see how that works. And we will do that the same way how we did it with the weapons. And I will just name this gadget 0. I will just do that. Gadget 0, gadget 1. I don't want to spend time on like naming stuff right now. And gadget 3. Square box, but then we will yeah, we will make a row out of just a single row out of that, so that we can test out one of those things at the same time. Let's just build the collectibles at the same time as well. Collectibles 0, 1, 2, and I'm just gonna place these all on row 1 and then 2. And yeah, let's just do this. So it's all row 1, and now so we have the weapons on a square, like 0, 1, 2, 3. Gadgets 4 in a row, collectibles 3 in a row. And what we need to do is this. So this is gonna be a little bit more like manual input, like where are the gadgets placed, and you know, now we have like the weapons, gadgets, collectibles, but we might change that. Like maybe the collectibles are more in like a long column. Let's just do that. So then we have 2 rows and just a single column. So we have collectibles just in a single row from the top. We need this for testing if that, you know, that cycle through while navigating is working. And let's just say that the collectibles are just on the right side. I don't like that idea. Ah, fuck it. 256. No, that's very far down. Gonna start out there and then 256. So it's a little bit more on the right. Just for testing. Just for testing. This one should be placed at, let's just say, 148. So the gadgets are placed below the weapons. The collectibles are placed for testing on the right side in a single column. And that means that we do need to clone. Why is it clone and not duplicate? Collect. What was I writing there? Collectible sprite. And let's give this a different color. Orange. Lovely. I don't like this orange. There you go. Buy them. Collectible. That means that we need to add this. And inf collectible. There you go. And just for testing, I already know what's gonna happen. You can think, maybe you can take a guess what's gonna happen, but I know that it's working, but it's gonna only show the weapons. There you go. I had a gut feeling. And now it should show up everything. And there's you know what? I'm pretty happy with building the inventory in this way, because this is gonna open up some cool stuff. Yes. We could do a very cool thing with this, and I will explain that in a little bit. Not gonna do it, but I will explain what, by building it like this, we have the ability to do some nifty stuff. Or I think something that's cool. Look. I just get excited about this stuff. Okay. Q. That sort of works. Where are the collectibles? Let's say I should have entered the debug, but you know, at least we see the icons, and selecting stuff is not working anymore. Oh, the collectibles. Collect. Collectibles. Collectibles. Collect. Am I typing that wrong? Maybe the 256 on a Y. Yes. Idiot. It should be 64. 256. It was building it off the screen. I think that's what happened. And my upstairs neighbor is drilling again. Not a sexual type of drilling. Just drilling. I should have done the debug. Oh no, I did the debug. Where are my collectibles? They're 0, so it's not building collectibles. Why? Why didn't? Yup, I know. There you go. Start. Q. Oh, fuck you. Yes. There were two mistakes that I made. Oh no. 2 mistakes. That's it, not more. When we create a new sprite or whatever, we need to place that on this object layout, because you're not able to spawn a sprite, an object, if it's not already on a layout. So it's not just a matter of like importing them into construct. You need to place them somewhere, and this is how I do it. Hi. So yeah, you need to place them somewhere. I don't know why. I don't know why, but it's how it works. So that's the same thing that we will get for enemies, because we don't necessarily want to have that. Yeah, it's easier to do it like that. That's from my experience. From my experience, that is. So, man. I'm thinking about how, well, let's test this out first, because the collectible should appear now on a little bit like here. My assumption is gonna spawn like around here. Yeah, I said here. I said here, but yeah, these are the weapons, the gadgets, and our collectibles. So the kind of what the weird thing now is that it's not doing. It should be doing that. It should. I'll just destroy this. Just remove that, because this is working for now for what we need. So the navigation. Something funky is happening there. During the check. Set items to family items X and Y. Pick by the type. We are doing that. Pick items, the type, the family type by inf type. And that's being set there. So let's just have the debug on to check what's happening in here. Like the row and columns are being chased. The inf type is collectibles. I don't know why. Why would it say collectibles here? Because that's the thing that we built. If we do the inventory type, I kind of know why it's doing that. Because yeah, we are calling these. This is for building, and now we set the inventory type. But this setting the inf type should occur when we have selected which inventory we want to access. So this should happen at a different point and not in here. So if we build it, then that happens. So it is on collectibles. So let's check the icons of the collectibles. Family items. It's probably the ones in the middle. Wait, is it? No, why would it say collectibles? Collectibles, that's the final thing. These are not the collectibles. These are the collectibles. Let's just check the icons. Because it's not working because it doesn't properly put in the type and the entry. So that's an issue. So something is going wrong with the building thing. Maybe is it setting the is it also not setting the right? It's totally not doing, so this is not working anymore. Shit. See, that's the problem when you have such a long string over there, where it's kind of like, well, is that working though? Debug layout. Selecting is not not working. Let's see if it was a matter of like changing the integer. No, fuck me. Let's see. Creating weapons. It is creating it. Returning the value. Return value. Inf weapon sprite UID. Let's go back to simply the weapons and only spawner weapons, and then debug. Nope. Browser log. Weapon UID. And let's see if we get like a proper UID from there and compare those with the UIDs on with the items that are on the layout. So we only have like the weapons, like the selecting stuff is not working. We have, let's close this and enter this again. Those are the UIDs of those icons, and it's gonna look like that. That's 76, 77, 78, 79. So we do, if we do the return value, we definitely send back the correct UID in here. Am I? Is similar to that. I'm gonna test out another thing. Is by doing this. Back. Not that one. Family items. Pick by UID and then do this. And otherwise we can check how we actually did it with the font. Because we had a similar system with the font. Oh, so now it's working. Why wouldn't it? Why would that expression not work? That's that's a weird one. Let's check the menu manager and the font. Because basically we set the return value. That's well, yeah. With the creation, we send back the UID. Pick item. Oh, so yeah, I didn't use the expression to pick the UID, but I simply used the fam font, like the pick UID. That's interesting though. So if I'm here now, then selecting should work, and let's go back to the inventory. Let's just delete that one and enable these again. See, man, this is a little bit too much. I just don't know. I just don't necessarily know like a better way. We could add, you know, when we see something like this, we could maybe have something that stores that stuff here so that we can speak a little bit like easier to it, like the item X, item Y, and then instead of having to send that along, we send along like a local variable and then, you know, use that here. It can be done easier. For now it works. But yeah, this is like for readability. If you have like a bug or something is not working, this is kind of like difficult to parse and see. Like, yeah, it's difficult to parse. It's difficult to parse. So here, then we have the icons. I think the selecting is gonna work kind of wonky. And now it's only selecting the collectibles because the collectibles are built as last. And it says in the menu that we are using the inf type collectibles. That is what it's saying right now. That's why we have these. So yeah, now the tricky part is like we have these items here, and we need to take one step back and first have like a menu option of how to select if we want to mess around with weapons, the gadgets, or collectibles. So I have something like a pre-select. I have an idea on how to do it, but that's a little bit janky. Are you gonna do it like that? I don't know. I will go over the janky option that we have right now of what we could do once we're in this menu. What we could do is what we could do is build a menu just like we do here. We have that functionality. If I'm correct, we can test it out. Build this menu, but then build it outside of the layout. So we do have the option of like weapons, collectibles, and gadgets. So we cycle through the list. We can just, pick them out. And then basically call a function like similarly to what we have on the main menu. So we have a function like this that says just weapons, gadgets, collectibles. And once we press A, then based on that, we change the inf type, and now we can select that inventory type. So we build the menu with the font, but don't show it, and it will be off screen. That might be the easiest way to actually do it, because otherwise I would have to otherwise I would have to build like another menu again, like another menu system, and that feels a little bit janky. That would feel janky, and doing this would feel janky, but actually that's why we built it. It's just the menu, you can't see it, but if you move like up and down, it should simply change the thing, but we do need to indicate what we're selecting. So that's a bit of a pickle. Because if we do that, what we will get from the control scheme is actually the menu one. And then let's see, could be possible, but there's gonna be another options, and that's once we move like up and down. I'm just gonna go show this. Like if we move like up and down, and we might have to just accept this as like, that's fine. We have like the weapons, gadgets, and collectibles, and then something else. Let's say we have that set up, right? Like here. So what happens if we do the menu thing, we move up and down. Let's say we move down, we move to gadgets. So we start out on weapons. So we see like a small arrow behind like a text or that border where the weapons are located. We see that highlighted. Then we move down, then we see gadgets highlighted. And if we press A, we select, the gadgets. So we move like an arrow between weapons, gadgets, collectibles, and that. So what's gonna feel a little bit wonky is that if we have like options here and here, the thing that I'm not gonna build, I could build it, but I don't think I'm gonna do it. Like that menu that we have is for moving up and down and not up and also to the right. So another thing, like let's say, fuck me, man. Let's say in the inventory there are like items here and here. If we stick to moving up and down, we let's. That's a bad color. We simply go from here and then select these and then select these. So you move up and down here, then you get here, here, and here, and here, and there's no moving left and right. Apologies for the sneeze. Feels a bit weird. Feels a bit weird to do that. But otherwise, it will just be too complicated if we have the ability to move to the right as well, and then move there and then up and down. Because what happens if we are here and now we move like down, maybe there's nothing here and we actually want to go there, then we need to, if you have that ability to move like left and right, like the weird selection would be like, oh, I'm here and then I go there, and if I want to go to the gadgets, I move to the left again and then down. And well, if I want to go to the collectibles, nothing is on the right, so I can't do that. So if I can't do that, then if I'm here on the gadgets and press right, then we need to compare, like, is something there? No. Or does it automatically go here? And that's kind of weird for the player as well. That if you press right here, nothing is here, so it moves up. So that's just a super complicated way to do that, instead of like just moving up and down to select things, and maybe just accept like that's the way it is, or we just simply make the decision that you have two columns again and 3 rows, and that's it. For example, another option would be to maybe have it more like look like Metroid, where you have like just these square boxes and then you move either to the stuff that's on the left or on the right. But then also moving up and down is not like a huge issue. It might feel a little bit weird. It's a tricky one, this one. Where's my mouse, man? The problem is if we use that one menu, just a normal menu with the font, we build it off screen, which is fine. That's not a problem. But then we need to find out a way that the UI does indicate what we have selected. So like maybe a name will just blink a little bit and there's like an arrow thing going on there, or like the border gets like lit up, like stuff is moving so you can see what you have selected. But we don't have that like set up in that menu that something like that happens, besides the arrow. So that's a tricky one. If you do the up and down, let's see what I know. Oh, this is a tough one. This is not an easy one. Just going it over in my head, like at that point you would have like a menu action on there, which is sort of fine. But the problem with doing that, we get in the inventory. The idea was that in the inventory, if you go to the left, you get the map, and if you go to the right, you'll get the option screen to save game and exit game, for example. That's also the menu. And then it becomes important. Then we have like that menu thing in the inventory for two separate things. And that's gonna be confusing as hell. And we need to have something that can check, are you in the options menu of the game, or are you in the inventory? Select which item type you want to select and browse through. Oh man, that's a tricky one. That's a tricky one. I don't want to make a different kind of menu solely for the inventory if you move like up and down. And I also don't want to necessarily make a different control state for the inventory. Because we already have like a different control state, you know, for this one. Like move the rows and do this. Or maybe the easiest thing is to keep. Fuck me. We need something. I think it's possible to use this, what we have built here as well, but we need to change it again to make it work for that thing. Let's check. Let's evaluate what we have for the controls. Because basically the control inventory, when you pressed, it calls navigation and then the direction. Mm-hmm. What I could do is like this navigation thing. Have another one. Like have oh my god. What I could do, if you go into the inventory, have something that says, well, now you're in selecting which inventory category you want. And once you press A, now you're in this mode of the inventory. So you kind of have some sort of like a sub option in the inventory. So the navigation first is something else, and then it actually is about navigating the items, and that's this. So we could change that. So once you're in the inventory, during the initialization, it builds the inventory, and for example, what if we do inv menu? We could also do inv type, just simply use that. Set the inv type to select. No. What if we say I'm getting a headache. Inv menu. Let's say we're select. Inv menu. Currently the state is inv select. the inf menu, we will change that name. It's a local text inf menu is select. And no, that's not useful for that one. I think we need to make something else in the let's just do it in the dictionary, like add something else in the dictionary, because we do have, no, we actually don't have anything in there for the inventory. Well, yeah. Yes. Inventory menu. In game. Which inventory menu are we in? Select. So we will get a new key in system data called inventory menu and select. And we might expand that even to the inf type, but that's not really needed here. So for testing purposes, let's just say dictionary system data dot get inventory menu. So now we call, well, no, yes, yes, and then maybe make that navigate. Yeah, man, select is such a weird way to call it, because you're selecting items as well and selecting menu options. Hey, uitverkorene. Welcome to the madness. I'm losing it. I was losing it yesterday already at the end of the stream, and I'm losing it now. I'm losing it. I can remove this, yes, and nope. I'm just gonna call function. Call function. Dictionary. Set key. System data. The key inventory menu. Select category. Is that how you write category? Sure. Whatever. Let's call that. So if we initialize the menu, this means once we boot up the menu, the first thing that we need to do, the first thing is in the inventory, we need to select the category. That's upper level, right? We need to select the category. Weapons, weapons, gadgets, collectibles, armor, whatever we're gonna build. We need to select which category do we want to enter into before we select an item. And then for testing, what I'm gonna do is actually say here, navigate, because that's how we call that one. So if we boot it up now, we are still stuck in being able to select the collectible, because that's the last thing that we built. Good. What is this? Day 5? No, shit. It's not doing anything. That's correct. I think. I should have booted up the... Inventory menu. It will send navigate, and that's actually, that will call that one, and then it does this. So let's do it again with the debug on. Let's go here. Let's go into the inventory, then move around. Can't actually change the columns, but that's the thing that we're doing here. The inf type, yep, that's the thing that's going wrong here, because the inf type is collectibles, which is probably okay, but it's kind of weird that it doesn't put it there. But let's just check the system data. Inventory menu is navigate, so that's correct. So why wouldn't it select the collectibles anymore? That's the thing that I was doing though. We're selecting, we're navigating to that. It is doing that. Right. Fuck me. Select. Category. It's that looks weird, man. Category. So let's disable this. Let's make this select item. That would say select item, but we will add something else to this. It was not working because that's gonna call a nav again, and we remove that. That should be select item. That should be select item, and that should be select item. And if I'm correct and test it out right now, now we're able to select, or at least cycle to these icons, because it's on collectibles, but we do call the proper function. And well, let's just do this. Fuck it. It's not the efficient way. Select category. That will have different. That needs to be. That's gonna be something else. We might use the rows and the columns as well, but let's stick to, well, that's fine. That's fine. That's good. Good. Yes. Remove that. Cancel. Remove that as well. And start and select should still stay like that. And that's actually perfect. That's actually perfect, man. Love it. Mwah. It's coming together. What I will do, select category, I will remove this. The left and right I will leave there, but just to check if this is working. Browser. Log. Select cat. That's gonna be select cat in an op function and power on 1. So we move that there, and we're gonna do a special thing where once we press accept, that means that we have selected the correct category, and now we're not changing it, but that's gonna end up that's one in the select category. Once we press accept, that means yes, weapons, change the function, the inventory menu to go to, well, I fucked this up already because that should be here and that needs to be here. We press accept in the category. Then we're changing to select item. The inf type should be set based on what we have selected. Should be changed depending on which category. How do I write category? Phone. Siri, how do I write category? Category? Category. It's correct. Category. Category is correct. Good. Inf type should be changed depending on which category is selected. So here we will get something like yes. For now, I will disable this and just say weapons. And what's going to happen then is when we press accept, it's going to change the category and it's going to change the menu to select item, which will result in the control inventory pressed will call a different function within inventory menu. And that function is now select item. So now we will go into this control scheme to select an item, which has maybe different results for the start and select and the accept and cancel. So yeah, okay, this is all good. This is all good. This is all that's good. That's good. This is actually working out. This is actually what I want. Yes. It's Sunday. Losing it. If I press Q, nothing is happening now. If I press up and down, nothing is happening now. That's good. That's good. If I press accept, then we're in weapons. So now there's one little thing that we need to do. And yes. Yeah. I'll just do this. I might need it. I could use row and column, but I'm not an animal. Remove this, and what I want to do, once you select that, let's go over the XML. Let's check where did we do like the inventory, HID. Yes. If you have paid attention, you know what I'm gonna do. If you have paid attention to all these streams, like all the 16 hours of doing this, you know what I'm gonna do. And you know it's not gonna work. You are going to say, love it. Probably. Load. Except we'll call probably a different, we'll probably call something in here for that. But for now, we're gonna, this is for testing. XML, it feels a little bit janky. But I do think if let's just build it. I'm just not gonna say it's janky. We're gonna leave this in here, but then it's gonna be set up inventory, set up inventory. And I think we could say type. We could say type. So for each setup inventory type, poop out the ID. Let's disable this one. So when we press accept, in the console, bow, 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 item type, and it doesn't say anything. It does poop out 3 things, but not with the ID. And that's because I made a little bit of error, because this should be a setup, item, cats. As always, I forget check. I need to make a note. I need to have like a note on my monitor where it says check the name of the file that you're actually referring to. There. Get the console. Clear the console. Press accept. Select cat, accept. And then we have item cats, weapons, gadgets, collectibles. What I'm gonna do right here is the menu. We're gonna clear that because we're not using the menu in here. I'm gonna clear it. I could also just set the size to 0. And why did it say item cats? Select cat. Let's disable this one because that was kind of, the item cats was working, right? Yes. So this one there, I'm gonna say array menu, push in all the options that we have. Tell about the cool thing that you can do in the inventory concerning unlockables and game progression. Exclamation mark. Bam. There might be a cool thing that I said earlier, but I forgot to tell that, but I will get to it after this is actually working. So we're gonna push every inventory type in there in the array, and oh no, you're an idiot. You're an absolute idiot. That shouldn't be on accept. This is good though, but this needs to be placed somewhere else. Let's move this up and down. It should actually be built. That should be placed there. Populate array with item cat options. That should be done once we get to once we open up the inventory. So there we go. Let's place that here, and no, let's place it there and then there. So for each it does that, and it needs to set its size. Now we could just do this and do this as well. And the nice thing is, oh, that's a tricky one. I could let's see if this works. Another thing that I could do is remove, have one of these functions, because based on that, so that we get like the inventory things over there. The category, up, system, set value, subtract from I is 1, and that's gonna be add to I1. Then there needs to be a check. System compare I is less than 0. Set it to array menu dot array no set value I to array menu dot width -1, and we basically will have the same thing for pressing down, because down it will add up, right? If it's greater, if it's equal to array menu dot width, set I to 0, and move indicator of which cat is selected. So that should have one thing be changed. But at the same time, while we do that, I don't think we necessarily had to do that, but let's just add it. Let's call the dictionary. No, we're gonna change. We're not gonna do that on the select, but while browsing through it, set item type to array menu dot add I, and that will basically be the same over there. Am I missing something? Now this feels like I came up with a solution a little bit too fast and I don't trust it at all. If we press accept, it goes to selected item, and then we don't even have to do that. That means we go to the different menu. And I'm just gonna do something. I should test it out right now if it's working, but let's not. If we press cancel in the select category, we need to go to category. We need to go back to the one level above by selecting the category again. No, we're in category. We need to do the cancel. We need to do this in the select item. In select item, we need to go back. Once you press cancel, it needs to go back to that. And I'm just gonna remove. I'm gonna disable this because the cancel has a different thing. And yeah, we need to change the naming of the secondary and a primary weapon slot. But for now, for testing, if we are select item, press cancel, it goes back to select category. A lot is going on right now. Let's close this one. Let's go into the debug. There you go. Let's make it a little bit smaller so that we can see that and that we can see this. And we need this, and this one is important. So start the game, go in here. Then we have an array data, weapon, gadgets, collectibles. So that's working. Step 1 is working. We don't have the indicator of what we have selected, but we will see that in on the system level in the local variable for the inf type. The inf type should be set to the first option that's there. So it always starts out on weapons. So if I press down now, it should go to gadgets, collectibles. Now it's going to weapons, gadgets, collectibles. Weapons, gadgets, collectibles. Move up, gadgets, move down, collectibles. Move up, gadgets, move up, weapons. So we can select the inf type. That's what we see. I was pointing in on the wrong monitor. That's what we see here. So we can select which category we actually want. So we see. So the idea is that you see like a small icon or the text that is appears above it to blink a little bit, but we will create some like art that will communicate what we have selected, and also have some sound play in the background, of course. So now if I press accept on, for example, weapons, we're no longer in the select category, but select items. So if I press the arrow keys, that indicator should move, and we should be able to select an item here. And I do need to make the loop around thing. And if I press the up arrow, which is cancel, see the inf type is not changing right now. And I press cancel, we're no longer selecting items, but if I press like up and down, we are back in that menu again. Love it. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's getting there. It's good. It's still funny what I'm building. It's still very funny. I will explain it in a couple of years why it's funny. Whew, man, the inventory stuff. That's a tricky one. See, that's why if you have something like Link's Awakening or just Ocarina of Time, just a single crit, makes it all easier, but we make it more complicated by having, let's switch to the other display. We're just making it more complicated because we wanted to have like the weapon categories. We want to have like the collectibles. We want to have the ability to maybe add more categories. See, that's the thing that we have built right now, right? We can build more categories if we have like the space on the screen, but we could make passive abilities, let's just write it down. Passive abilities. So for example, you could make that and even have like maybe 2 of them. Cooldowns is not for that. Oh, I actually set like armor or passive items. But yeah, that's a cool thing now. So now you could actually make something like, okay, you can select an armor, you can select other categories and add more to them. And the only thing that we need to do for the inventory itself, make the icons, add it to the XML, and yeah, this is kind of nice. So now the problem is that except we have like the primary and the secondary slot. That's confusing as hell. So what I want to do though now is add the weapon and a gadget slot, and that's just it. Yeah, like one weapon slot, one gadget slot instead of like the primary and the secondary. And then based on where the category that we are in, it will change like that slot. And yeah, that's gonna be yeah, that's gonna be nice when that is working. So you no longer have like the A and B, but it's just like, okay, I accept this weapon, it goes into the weapon slot. I accept this gadget, it goes into the gadget slot. I accept this piece of armor, that goes into the armor slot. Right? So that's the thing that we need to build. So it's a matter of having that also into. Yeah, no. We just need to build different slots, because the naming convention that we use for that right now is a little bit like weird. But it's getting there. It's getting there. Lost my mouse. So it's already starting to become more complicated than Zelda. No more tea. That's fucked up, man. No more tea. It's cold. 1 second. I need to put on my sweater. It's already like 4 p.m. Crazy. Here we go. So yeah, let's add those keys and I fix that thing, and then with selecting the categories, we can just use like the red dot that we have now, to kind of indicate it, because otherwise we have to make like more stuff for that, and creating like the headers. We could make just a font appear at top of it to show the categories as well. But yeah, let's make the on there setup. That needs to be. Well, we have like the game data. Did I actually not make the dictionary stuff for the player as well? Or is that something that I did in here? Gadgets, ID, common, bow. That is what it uses. Resources. What would be nice? I'm just thinking if you have like rows and you can more like if you select a category and you move like up and down, you cycle through like an whole inventory. So you actually have the ability to add more items than needed, than actually what you want. You just have a single row, and if you move up and down, you create like a new row with new items in it. Could be done. Where do I do the stuff for the player? Is that something that I do like manually when I build it? Oh, I don't like that. Nope, we need to change that. That should be in that's in player data. We need to change that. So game data. Let's just fix that right now. That's why we do that in a XML, so we keep track of it instead of like it being like that you need to search for it. Like, okay, initialize empty. Oh, that's where I create the keys, because that's a dangerous thing. That's a dangerous thing. So for the player, we do have like health. Let's just set this value to 100. And now we have 2 more. Instead of the slot primary, I'm gonna call this weapon slot. And I'm gonna call this gadget slot. And what I'm gonna do is already create another slot as well. And that's just armor. And this should say none. So yeah, we need to remove that stuff for there, and that should go into player data. And I don't think we have that set up from the beginning. Let's check. Main menu. No, that's in the splash where we load in the XML for the setup. That's being done here. Load XML, game data, setup. As that. Once that is done and loaded, we're gonna do this. Do player data. Move that one up. It's kind of obvious, or it would be kind of feels better to have that, like whatever is important to have that like be on, like up there, like at top. So player data and then the controls and then player data. Dictionary, that is here. Build. Just gonna copy that one. And this is only for the first time setup. Yeah, this is only what takes place whenever we boot up the game for the first time, I think. So we add this. So now if I go to player and remove these, disable, and for testing it out on the splash screen, and if I check player data, it should say health, weapon, gadget, and armor, which is fine. I'm not gonna remove, well, let's just remove these. And then another important part that I need to change is this one here. Because A and B is gonna be weapon and gadget. See, now you kind of see like, okay, we're working on the inventory, but changing something there and how the inventory actually works, like how much that actually impacts like the stuff for the player, like going from primary and secondary. Actually, that idea of like you being able to select 2 items, and the primary and the secondary could either be a weapon or a gadget. And now having done this, just kind of like what type of impact that has on like the controls, the player, how you set it up, how you select something, and the ability to what to select. That is why it is so good to like draw it out, think about it, and make it so that you can actually change it. But also that you do change it though, because this has an impact that on the controller, what we're building now is not a primary and secondary anymore. It's just a single button for the weapon and a single button for the gadget. And we do need to change this. We could leave it there because it's working somewhat, but that's gonna confuse us like crazy. What I now need to do is change the control weapon. I'm just going to say that this is the gadget. Weapon and gadget. So we change this to weapon and gadget. And now we call the player action the primary and the secondary. And let's have a look at that as well, because I do want to change that. Yes, player, we're there. Player action is the primary and the secondary. So because now we know weapon, the weapon, the player action for the weapon is always something that probably requires like a resource to use. That means we don't have to build this for the secondary as well, because the gadget is probably gonna work in a different way than that. If that makes sense. But I feel like I want to change this up to what we could do. What we could do is actually this. Is it wise to just call this function weapon for the player? I'm not going to do that for enemies. I'm not going to build functions for enemies that's also called gadget. So now what we could do is say, yeah, we know weapon type. Gadget type. So instead of calling player action, we're going to call something else. And that's actually just weapon. I think we're going to stick with this. We're going to stick with this. Just say we have a weapon and a gadget, and that's it. So weapon, we'll call the function weapon, and then maybe it will say use, or it will send along the dig player data dot get weapon slot. And for this one, it won't call the play action anymore, but it will call get should use and then whatever is on the gadget slot. And move that there, say use the same one as there. Let's see what kind of comments we had at the player action. Primary, secondary, either a weapon or a gadget. Player action, do we need this? Well, good question, dude. Note, don't forget about the cooldowns. Yes, you're right. Don't forget about the cooldowns. Don't forget about that. And at that point, what we have here is actually check. We have to check, right? If we have the resource to use that item. So for now, I am going to copy that and place it there. We might have to change a little thing here because it still says like the primary slot. So that should be a weapon slot, resource, and weapon slot, resource per use. That's referring to the data that's here, like the resource. That's something that we built before. And one thing that I currently don't like is weapon slot amount, right? What I don't like is that gadgets might use a resource as well. We don't know yet, but maybe they use a resource. Maybe that's just based on a single resources, like every gadget uses just a singular resource that's there, and that's maybe based on like the cooldown. Like you got like an enemy energy bar, and you'll just use energy to use a gadget. So we might have to build something that's similar to this. We might build, I'm saying might, call some sort of resource check function. Resource add subtract, which can be used for weapons and gadgets. We kind of have that set up with the inventory, the add and subtract. We already have that. It's not like really like a big problem with how we set that. I kind of feel that this should, like the subtract, it should just maybe call function. It should be maybe set up differently, but maybe this is also good. Maybe this is also good. I'm not gonna copy and paste that over there. Maybe this is also good. That should item use and slot primary. Well, that's referring to weapon use. That. Do I like that? Items. It's kind of, I already had it like set up like that. You know what? Let's change this. ES weapon. ES gadget. And item. The weapon. Let's move it there. Weapons, gadgets, and maybe something else should have their own event sheet, so that it's not all referring to item and then that. And yeah, what we could do now, player weapon use, that's just a universal, let's call it like more like a global thing for all the weapons. And what's it gonna do? Weapons slot. Might want to do this and just say, well, that's all gonna be lowercase. That's fine. I'm gonna do weapon and then remove that. So we're gonna call function weapon. That's good. Add function. Yes, we are working on the inventory, but this, I know. Specifically about the bow. Then I'm gonna go to the items. I'm just gonna remove that and put it there. And a projectile, I feel the projectiles, and that might be placed somewhere else. It should be on weapon right now, but maybe a gadget shoots out a projectile. I'm just gonna remove that. So ES items should maybe that could maybe global, no, game function. What we could do is have the projectile. Hey Mimitrits, how are you doing? It's going. I think it's going well. I'm working on the inventory, but I need to fix a couple things. And It's a lot of a lot of different things moving. Yes, a lot of things are moving right now that I need to keep track of. Too many things. Why is this not just on the weapon layout? Let's move that there, and then I can do this, so I don't even need that. And the gadget, that's gonna go here, and it's all about the player, so I'm just gonna include weapon and include gadgets on the player event sheet. Muted, are you gonna make a better game than Link to the Past? No, that's impossible, because Link to the Past is the best game of all time. It's the #1 game. That's impossible to do. That's too much to ask. So did I use... That's there. And the gadget has a different thing. I feel like I can delete that. Maybe? Maybe? Maybe it's, well, I guess it will get relocated to #2 after this. Oh, yeah, maybe. I would be okay if it's just if this game is gonna end up on the second spot, or what's the other one? Worthwhile mention. Just that we get like a good mention. Primary. I'm gonna remove that. So we're evaluating the items. Set key player data slot primary, and that needs to change as well. Slot primary, it should say slot, and I think that's it. I don't know for sure. I've scored second best game ever. Just gotta believe. Just gotta believe. Just gotta practice, and then see how it goes. Don't lose your sanity. I lost the thread. I lost it. Let's close this. I don't have an idea what I just did. What? If I press start, good. Can move around. I don't have a bow. I do pick up a bow right now, but I have not selected a bow. So let's move over to our play data that has the weapon slot, gadget slot, and armor slot. Let's go to the inventory. Let's select weapons. That's no longer working. Good. Why is it not working? Why? Oh, no. I should not press. I need to fix the selecting, and I can't go further than this. So let's just... Right, okay. Select weapons. That's what we see here, that I'm selecting weapons, collecting weapons. Press A, then I can select... Well, yeah, now the finicky thing is that... Well, okay, good. I need to fix that ASAP. That I can go further beyond, like in a minus. So that's the bow. The inf type is weapons. This might not work anymore because I need to check something out. We got the weapons. The type weapons. The type is weapons, and the type should be weapon. Me using gadgets and gadget. Me using weapons and weapon to indicate like the type is fucking something up. Mutus, when you said Zelda clone, I thought Breath of the Wild clone. What is this top-down crap? This isn't Zelda. Me, if I was not a 90s kid. Well, yeah, well, could make a 3D Zelda. Could do it. The question is, do I want to? And who says this gonna? Maybe this is gonna end up like a 2D top down. Maybe I haven't decided yet. Maybe I'm gonna make a sequel to Want of Chameleon. Maybe that's gonna. I'm gonna improve it. Remaster. CDI Zelda with 3D renders. 2D sprites, but those are 3D renders, kind of like the Donkey Kong stuff. Why should I change that? I have a choice. Because I keep referring that to weapons and gadgets. There would have been a nice thing. Let's go and show that. Because I call this weapon slot and I don't call it weapons slot. I could call it, but that seems weird, right? Gadgets slot, armor. I should have called all the other things weapon, just singular, even though there are more weapons. Why? Because by selecting an item, because that would have made it easier and less janky, that if we select something that based on the type, we change the slot. But if I do this right now, it will change the weapons slot key instead of the weapon slot key. So that it could have been like more like in a dynamic way. Mimitrus, man, do you think they will ever make more top-down Zelda games? You really love those games. That's what we are doing. I thought we were recreating Robin Williams' daughter. I thought it was a bit rudimentary, but I was willing to give Scaffa another 3 weeks to get it done. Well, Weird Science Zelda Edition. No, that's a little bit weird. Weird Science is an odd movie. The TV show is also odd, but the movie is also something else. Holy shit! Am I gonna how much will it fuck up if I change the naming right now? Am I correct in saying that calling this weapons, that it's better to just say weapon? How much will that fuck it up? Not that much though. Collectible. We know there are more collectible. But let's call it ID collectible. That means, though, this needs to be changed. Gadget. It's a little bit odd. And collectible. And will they fuck up anything else? Yes. Collectible gadget weapon. Because I do singular here as well. And then that works. Is that used somewhere else? Like the weapons? I might, if I go in the controls. No, because that's where I refer to weapon, singular weapon, gadget slot. And if you use one of those things, your weapon, bow, use. Am I referring it to weapon slots? Yes. Weapon slot? Yes. Because that's all for the inventory, and that is for the inventory, the inventory. This is for the inventory menu. So let's see if I press A, fuck me. If I go here, there, inventory, yes. A little bug in here that it doesn't say the info type yet. I need to fix that. It should say weapon. So now it's weapon. I need to move it up and down. That's the kind of like the similar bug that we have written down also for like the menu option. I need to, yeah, it would be nice to fix that. So press accept. Then we cycle through the weapons. That's the bow. So if I press A here, then it goes to bow, machine gun, grenade, sword. If I move away from this, then press down. I'm on the blue row. Press A. Can I move? I need to reset. Yes. I also need to reset like the row and the column when I do that. That's the other bug that we have. So if you move left and right, we're on the gadgets. So if I go to player data and we have the gadgets here and I press A, we get gadget 0, gadget 1. That's something that we see here on the upper right. Gadget 2, gadget 3. Gadget 2, gadget 1, gadget 3. If I cancel out of this, move down, we're in a collectibles, but collectibles don't have a slot. So this is sort of working. I need to fix that thing where it doesn't say weapon once we go into that menu. It should just, yes, it needs to do that. In the cycling, the cycling. Those are two things that make navigation a little bit like a hassle. So whenever we cancel out of the item select, it should set it to call and row to 0, 0. We might have a function that just calls like reset the options. It needs to change that. The cycle. If I press left, it should go to the last one. And the other one was that it says weapon when you weapon. That it starts out on the option weapon. Push back. And now it's weapon though, but I wanna see if This is gonna do it 3 times, but inf type, oh, set value, inf type to array menu dot add 0. It is a little bit like too much. I could make a sub event here where it does that, but yeah, it will set it like 3 times, but it will always set it to 0. So once we build it, the inf type should be set to the first thing that is on that list, which makes sense. So let's check that out. That's the system, the inf type. So go here, then it says weapon. So if we change the order of things, of how it is built, if we change whatever is you know, in the as the first option, then it will set it automatically to that. So if we press A right now, we are already like in the weapons menu. If we go back, go down, press A, we're in that menu. So that's good. Oh, fuck me, man. Inventory stuff. It's really funny that what we're building. It's really funny. It's really funny. Love it. I hate the row in a column that I don't, that I can't cycle through that stuff. Let me test something out. Oh, fuck me. Where am I? Nope. Nope. Press A. That's a weapon. If I'm here, press cancel, press down, press A. Oh, if I'm here, press cancel, press down, press A, and I'm there. What did I test out? No, it makes sense. If I press accept, it should set that little thing to, it should actually say a check, but we're just using that thing right now for debugging. Select item. And then check. How am I gonna do this? Check. Set it to that. I am gonna make system. Pick by how can I? Yes. Right. It's a tricky one. The thing that I need to know is what's the, once we're in the weapon category, I will just show it on the other monitor. Love these drawings. So the thing that we want is the thing that I described here. Once we're on this item and we press up, it should stay in that column, but it should pick the highest item of that category and select that one. So it needs to cycle there. And also the other way around, like once we're here, it should go down, but then pick the item that has the lowest row count variable, and so it moves there. And the same goes for example, if you have a row like this, if I press here on the left, it should pick the item of that category and bring us to, well, that's the row with the highest column, and when we go there, with the lowest column variable. Yes. I lost my mouse. There you go. Easy. Let's do that. Let's build it like up and down is row. Let's build it. Let's build it a little bit dirty, and then fine tune it. Just a little bit dirty, because I know what I need to do, but I don't know what a clean way what the clean way is to do it, if that makes sense. Type should be equal to there's so much shit that you have to keep track of. Like, holy moly, man. Holy moly. This is just a start. But there's so much shit that you need to keep track of. I love it. But it's so much. It's a little bit too much. Subtract. So when we subtract it, we do need to compare. Yeah, okay. I think that's it. We need to compare system. Compare row is less than 0. If it's less than 0, it needs to do something. It should pick the one with the highest row and pick the one like from the family items. Let's do this with the highest row, and with I think we could do this with the same column is equal to just the column that we have right now. And then we should say set row to, well, inf items dot row, because we picked the one with the highest row, and that's where we set the row to. And then actually we call the check, or else we call the check there. And is it something that we could test out right now if moving up works? So we just subtract one from row, and then the thing that happens after that is we check if row is less than 0. That means there's no minus 1 row. If that happens, we will pick out. We need to check out the inf items with the same type, that's like stored in the sys data like inf type. So in this case, like weapons, we need to select like all the one, you know, for those. I am maybe we need an for each loop in here. I'm not sure. But what we do then is pick from the fem items. We pick the one with the highest row amount that has the same column. Because we're moving up and down, so we're moving up and down in rows, but we stick in the same column. So if it's less than that, it should set the row to like the highest row count. And then we need to do the check, and that makes sure that the cursor is placed on that, and then that item is selected. How's it going? Good luck with work, and thank you. It's gonna be a nice evening. Formula 1 starting at 9. What a weird time. I'm gonna chill out after this. But thank you, and good luck with work. And if it's not less than that, it should also do the check, right? We could actually, well, we will test this out, but having the 2 checks might not be needed, because I guess we can do this. Then it will set the row and then have like an empty event here, and then just do the singular check. But in the end, it's not like adding either setup will have the same amount of setup or event count. So let's just check this. Now I would have preferred if the weapons had like more rows to properly see it working. So let's enlarge this a little bit and get the system, because we need to keep track of column, inf type, and well, I'm just gonna do the item so we have it there. Let's press accept. Go to the inventory. Select weapons. Moving up and down works. Left and right still works. I'm gonna, moment of truth, I'm gonna press up. That means it should go to the one below me. Nope. It is not setting the row to 0. So that's a weird one. So select item. Why wouldn't it do this? Maybe that picking is not working, that it will just pick randomly from. That's maybe the thing that is happening there, that it will just pick. I have a feeling that I need to do a for each over there. This will just pick randomly one of the fem items that has that type. So now we have a little bit different. Pick instance with highest row, call, and then do a check. That might be, yeah, well, let's see if this works. So it's not correctly picking out that one. Let's. No, why do I do that? Just to see if it actually does something, yes or no, in a console, or if it's doing that. See if it does an else here or there. It might not actually work. I have a feeling we need to do the for each and then pick with the highest. For testing, I could also do that and just see what it does if I simply do this and call that one pick 3. And what I will do is fam infitems.uid just to see if it does this or simply if it does that, which one it is selecting. And with the UID we can compare it. My assumption is something is wrong with this. So let's do this again. I don't think it, yeah, now it did. Let's go to watch, start. What a weird thing. What a weird thing. Clear console. Maybe something is fucking up in the check though. Move down. That's correct. If I move up. If I move up from down, it does that. It does the pick 2. What's pick 2? That's the else. That's correct, because it's not less than 0. So if I press up now, it does pick 0. And it does send in 2 UIDs. It does 3 and 4 as well. So this one is not working. This one is working. But I have a feeling that the inf type, well, that key might not exist. Because that should be that. I assumed system. Yeah. That was never gonna work. Pick one. I will just add let's see if the console actually says like the like it will poop out like all the other options as well. Press A. Now I'm there. Pick 2. Let's clear it. Let's move up. So it still doesn't do the second one that we actually want. Weapons. We need to know which icons. It shouldn't look at these icons because we need to know that we're talking about the weapon icons. And that's all in a family. And the problem is that I do want to make sure it only looks at these, because if we pick like the one with the highest row count and we, for example, have like collectibles, like 3 rows, it might fuck up and select like the highest row count of the gadgets or collectibles. Like, yeah, it would actually pick out this one maybe. So there's one with the pick 3 and 4. That's this one and that one. That is just with the highest row and the highest row with the same column. So which one would it actually pick then? (379) and (479). Inspect. Fam items. I'm checking the UIDs that are here. 7, 8. What the fuck? Well, that's correct because those are other items. Inventory items. I need these. There's no 400. What? How could it say? Oh, you're an idiot. So the 79. It will. These option 3 and 4 both pick up 79, which is that one. Because that one has like the highest row count. So this was actually good for testing that we build it out like this, just to see like if the highest and lowest is actually working. So because this one is not working with the type, it's not selecting that one. Because here it will just look at all the inventory items, the sprites with the highest, and that's why it's selecting this one, because that one has the highest, because that's 2, and there's no other category which has a higher row count or also 2. So the picking the highest is working, but we need to find a way to get the highest based on the category. So maybe I need to do this and that, and let's see if this actually if this works. Compare the type. Because that says weapon. Inf type says weapon. And then pick the highest instance row. And then column. If that is not working, I need to try that for each, but that's kind of weird with the picking. Because how do you pick with a for each? I don't think the for each is that's not the solution. That's not the solution. That was it. That was it. So if I cancel out on the here and then press down twice, I'm there. If I press up, it should go to the third one. Yeah, so that's the thing that I want. If I'm up and press up again, I pick the one that's down below. That feels logical to me. I don't want to stop the navigation here that you can press up, but just for easy access that you actually go down there. That's handy if there's like a lot of items that you choose from, or like a long row or a lot of columns. And I think that's logical, especially if you have like a whole row of, for example, items that you can choose from. So let's remove that stuff. Let's remove that. And we need this also for moving down. And in that case, we need to pick the lowest one. And I'm just going to copy this also for left. And instead of row, that should compare the column. If left, you subtract from the column, I should remove the checks from there. Get the highest row or the highest column. And here it should compare the same row, because it should stick on the same row. Set column to call, check the item, and else that. Row is row, highest column, because we move left. That means we end up at the other. We move left, means we move to the other side, and for right, I'm gonna delete that and move that, do this. And the up and down, yeah, here's a shitty thing though. This comparison needs to be different, because for moving down, we need to compare it with the highest row count. So actually copy and pasting it is not good, because that needs to have like a different. How can I find out what the maximum column is? This could have been done differently. Because for left is working. Right. Well, that needs to... let's fix it for the up and down. For down, I think it will have a different structure, or a similar structure than that one. Let's not disable it. Pick the one with the highest row. No, pick one with the lowest row. Yeah, okay. Pick one with the lowest row. We're moving down, so that means... No. You could basically... No, I was thinking you could compare it with its own row, but that doesn't make sense, because you need to pick with the highest. For the thing to make that work, it should pick the highest row. With that inf type, that needs to be here. High with the same column. And then compare if row is greater than the row. Then it should set it to 0 and then check, and else just do the check. Did I... So if you press down, pick the instance with the highest row and with the same column. Compare the row, the value, if it's higher than like the highest row, that means it should be set to 0, and else it shouldn't do that. And I'm just gonna assume that's gonna work. That's very dangerous, I know. And from here we need to check the highest column and compare row with row. Yes, it needs to be the same row, and that needs to be column, and that needs to be column. if column is greater than that, then the highest column, and it needs to do that, and then set the column to 0 and then check, and else it should send a check. Could have this been done easier? Yes. Yes. Because after building it, or after selecting it, after selecting a category, we could have actually made a static or stored simply store. We'll check. Call max. We could have like a just do this, and that would, after it's being one selected, then we could do something like compare item this, and then just set the maximum that and that, and only compare that. But if this is working, I'm not gonna mess around too much with it. And otherwise, if it's not working, then that's the option. I feel like I forgot something with right. Let me check column. Yeah, right and left. Right and left is about the columns. Here it is. For them, you know. Go here. Go into the menu. Select weapons. Up and down. Up, 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 up. This is me pressing down. That's no longer working. Good, 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 good. Pressing down is changing the row though. And that's... If it's 1, if I press down, it goes to 1. But it's not setting the... It's not doing this. Wait, what? Why would it stay there? It is kind of... It is cycling. If I press down, it is cycling through 0 and 1 though. And on 1, that means it's here. And if I press down, it should go to that one. So in this instance, that is working. I'm scared to press left and right. Let's just save it. If I press here left, it's not doing the column stuff. And if I press right, the column stuff is not working. That's a weird one. Also, that it is not moving that thing over there. Mm-hmm. This is actually maybe like the cleanest way to do it. From the inf type, because that's it there. Oh, If we press X up there, we set the key sys data, inventory, select item. Where do we set the inf type? Now it's becoming. Am I looking over it? Um, hmm. We set the inventory type where we move up and down. Yeah, so this is not needed because we moved that up and down. So this should work. This is actually very easy to check if this is working. We just set the max and a minimum amount once we select a category, and based on that, we don't need those comparisons actually in the inventory. So let's go here and press these. So we have like the max row, max column. It says 0, 0. If I press 8, it should say 1, 1. If I cancel out and press down for gadget, it should say 0 and 3. Yeah. And have collectibles, it should say 0 and 2. That was way easier. That's way easier to do. Oh, fuck me, man. Let's move that here. Let's remove that shit. Let's remove that stuff as well. And then from up, we will just make the compare for up and down. Up and down is the row. If row is greater than row max, it should say set value row to 0. And then it should do this. I will just do this. And let's test that out for down as well. Then run the game just to see if that is working. But going down, it's just that should just be greater than 0. And then that should be set to row max. Press up, comes down, and down is the max option. So up and down should work. It looks way cleaner now. Down works. Up, not working yet. Up, if it's less than 0, set it to row max. That seems to be working. For every option that available, that left should be the column. If it's less than 0, set column to call max. Because you're moving left, goes into minus, set it to the max, and do that. Else, call that. And for right, is it greater than call max? Set column to 0, else do the check as well. Now I'm pressing left, so left on this one goes to the last thing on the inventory. If I press right now, it goes to that one. Love it. That's still working. Left and right won't do anything because it will just select that one item again. Cancel out, press up, press A. Then when you're there, press left. And like there. Yeah, this is still tricky to know which we need to make like an indicator that actually shows us a little bit more like which category we actually have selected. Because now it's just a guessing game. We do see it like in the debug, but this is a guessing game. For now, you could say if you're out of it, use like the red button, but I feel that we should have fonts above it, though, that and the fonts, just the title, like a small header that actually shows what it is. Could we, because I need to call it soon, I definitely need to eat something. Could we just make a small debug font once we build the inventory? I will say that we could do that for the font menu. Well, let's just use that font right now. And once we build yeah, I'm just gonna do this. This is just so that we kind of see the name of the category, and we could make it so that it blinks if we select it. And I'm just gonna use. Oh my god. I think it's just. Yeah, I think it's just this. And that might be here. That's the X and Y. No, that's not gonna work. That needs to be like that. I think I should remove that slash. I don't need. You know what? I don't need. I'm just gonna press done. Simply need the X and Y, not the size and the space. X and Y. And maybe on the Y do a minus 16 for now. And this is something normally that we probably just... No. This is in the end, we will probably do the text like this because we also need to translate the text, but we will use a different font and need to do some other things as well with it. But I feel like this is... we will just set the ID in there. That means if all goes well, we create like 3 fonts right now that says weapon, gadgets, and collectible on there. And yes, with a small offset on the Y, just a little bit above it. Oh, it won't look good. Right? Q. Good text. That's large. That's readable. At least we know, you know, what the category is. And for now, one final thing. I'll just add a flash. And you know what? Let's... This is definitely for testing. Let's have that. And select category. Once we move up and down, have another thing go on. Can I do that? Yes. And font menu, flash. It's short flash. Do that there as well. And press play. Do this. Go here. Why is it only flashing gadget? Right. It was working. But a 1 is not an I. Here's my tip. A 1 is not an I. So now for kind of like in the game, just for our sake, you know, we need to, at the end, we will get like an arrow or something else that indicates what section we have selected in the inventory. But now if we press just down or up, we kind of see it. And if we go into weapon, we do need to fix like that little icon, but we at least we get a little bit more feedback on what we have selected. So if we select something, it should at some point I also need to add like a sound like an FX function and just use some like pre-made stuff that I have on my drive, so that we can also, maybe that's a smart thing to do. You know, I have like the sound effects, just like the bleeps and bloops. so that we know, so that we can already build that system out and then replace it whenever we need to, because now it's otherwise it's just gonna add up like way more work. Like go over it, like, okay, what actually needs audio, and having audio is always good, to test out stuff as well, if you have selected something or not. For example, I would like some audio if I press A now, so that I just get a little bit of feedback and know that pressing A actually worked. But moving out, I kind of like this, that we can cycle through our inventory and select stuff that we have on the screen here. And if we go into the gadgets, we can cycle through. And yeah, again, the red dot should be placed on the first option already. That's just it's maybe a small thing, but a small thing that will fuck up some things. Yes. But this is working. I'm happy about it. Player data. Let's just see. So for example, we see that stuff over here, like weapon slot, gadget slot, armor slot. So let's go into the gadget. Let's select gadget 2. Move out. Go to weapon. Select a bow, or the grenade, machine gun, or sword. Something like a grenade would be more under the gadget, I guess. But that works, and we don't have armor category, but that's something. If we add that now to the XML, now just a sprite, then that's going to be rather easy to set up. With how it's now built is that we could create something that has like 3 rows, 3x3 or 3x6, and that it is maybe the resources, and just get that get that popped up, and now we don't have to. Everything is set up with the columns and the rows, like cycling through it, and also like the font. That font will be replaced. That needs to be renamed, but all those functions are built, so that's kind of nice. And I kind of feel good about. There are some minor tweaks that I want to do for this, just for the prototype to test out and select stuff. But you know what? I'm happy. I'm happy that this is working. This is good. This is good. This is good for a prototype. Don't need all the fancy stuff. Some sound effects, and yeah, just the like work on the indication a little bit. Because yeah, it needs an arrow. Because if you start out here, you don't know. Like here, you don't know you're actually on weapons, right? So either that needs to blink, but it's a prototype. It's a prototype. It's fine. Speaking of, it's fine. I'm kind of cold there. It's already like another long stream. I need to eat a little bit, and that was kind of intense. A lot of moving parts, but I do feel good. I do feel good about it. Maybe next time I will write it in the notes. Next time I will call the cool thing about the inventory and the unlockables as a fix function. That is kind of important. So let's add a exclamation mark to it. Yeah, we need to add some sound effects, and I think I will just use like sound effects from other prototypes. I just have like the standard ones. Yeah, man, making some progress. Yeah, let's go there. Yeah, like music sounds a little bit weird, like not having any music in the background. But normally, if I play a game, I don't have, or just for just chatting, I also don't have music. But the music is just fucking up the YouTube stuff. And if you miss the music, please, it's a lo-fi playlist. Turn it on. put it on like 20%. It's good then. Otherwise, I need to mess around with it, and I don't know. There's something I don't want to use it too much. It's kind of annoying to see like on YouTube now, like copyright notice. I just keep seeing it, and then maybe it's too much. So yeah, kind of like a bummer, but it is what it is. Yeah, that's good. Good. I'm gonna enjoy my evening. It's not the evening yet, but I'm gonna make a nice, lovely salad with some shrimpies in it, if all goes well. And then I'm gonna check out Formula One later, and need to catch up on some shows. So I hope this was enjoyable, and thanks all for watching, and see you all next time. And take care. Have a nice weekend. Bye.